Folks, today is story day. I have a very good longtime friend who is in a situation that's very distressing for her, and she has a lot of serious health issues, and she wanted me to tell this story. But honestly, nobody can tell the story quite like she can. At the time this happened, she lived in Kentucky. She now lives in Wisconsin, but she lived in Kentucky. And we actually met online through the chicken forum. She fell in love with my big blue Orpington rooster, Suede, and she got her own blue Orpington boy, Lancelot, who is oddly enough still alive at almost 11 years old today. And that's unusual for a rooster that large, or pretty much any rooster. But she's come to visit me several times, or she did when she lived in Kentucky, and would stay, and she would, she would bake treats for my birds. I mean, she'd bake these seed cakes for them, and they were always happy to see her coming. But way back, this is before Atlas. This was way back when I had my big Delaware rooster, Isaac. We had this little incident, let me just say. And I went back on the forum and I pulled up her stories that she wrote about this incident. And I think if you like story time, funny stories, I think you might like this one. If you don't like stories, you can skip it. But she said, I think this story needs to be told. Can you tell it on your channel, please? I think it'll cheer her up. So we're going to tell her story, and I'm going to start by reading one of her posts on backyard chickens. It's a small but vicious creature, not sure of the species category, but it has been dubbed the DelaRex. It attacks at any time, goes for the head and neck area, especially the eyes of its victim. Not known if it's lethal, but it is dangerously annoying. She said, today, Speckled Hen and I, of course, I'm Speckled Hen on BYC. Speckled Hen and I were both confronted with this creature as it repeatedly attacked her full-grown Delaware rooster, Isaac. I managed to get a picture of the DelaRex to share as a warning to you, so look out for the predator. I should mention the DelaRex also bit both of us. We have no idea what size these creatures will be at full growth potential, but be afraid. Be very afraid. So, what is the DelaRex, you ask? Well, let me read on. I had, at the time, a mixed breed rooster hen named Rita, a red hen. She was a blue lace red Wyandotte over Americana. She looked like a Rhode Island red. It was strange, but I know her parentage. And she went broody one time. And I gave her eggs from Isaac with his hens. At the time, the Marvin Stukel Rocks, the original ones. I gave her eggs from that pen, of which she was part of, and she hatched exactly one chick, a little boy. And this was a little Delaware Barred Plymouth Rock cross. So he's a cross, and his name was Rex. This was Atlas's sire. Well, I'm going to read you the story, and we both watched this happen, and it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my whole life. Now I'm going to read her story the way she wrote it, because this was quite a while ago. This was 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, 10 years ago. It was a while back. Okay. She said, Rita had her baby Rex free-ranging around the yard, and I pulled Isaac from his pen to give him treats because that's what I do. Visit Speckled Hen and spoil her birds. That's right, she did. Every time. So Rita comes around the corner, and Isaac sees her, and he rushes over and dances for her, all excited because, he hasn't been with her in a long time. She'd been raising her baby. She'd been separated from the flock. So he's all excited. He dances around her and stops when she ignores him because she's still raising babies. She's not interested in any of that. Isaac sees the little tyke, little bitty Rex, and he checks him out. No big deal. He's not used to being around babies, but was a very good boy. He'd never been around chicks before, ever. But he was very good. He was just like, oh, this is interesting. Look at him. So Isaac began dancing for Rita again. You know, the roosters, they drop their wing and they kind of do this little dance to lure the woman in. It's very exciting to these hens, right? If he does it right. Isaac was a good dancer. So Isaac began dancing for Rita again, and suddenly he was viciously attacked. Little Rex rushed over and flogged Isaac. That means when he jumps up and hits him with both feet, bouncing off his chest like a pebble. Isaac lowered his head to look at the pest when suddenly Rex flogged him in the face 4 more times, and then, for good measure, gives Daddy a poke in the eye. So he's super laughing at this time. So Daddy was rapidly losing patience with this child. So quickly the child was snatched up before Dad could thunk him. Yeah, Rex was 2 weeks old at the time. Just over 2 weeks old. If you can imagine, his entire body was as big as Isaac's head. So what was going on was little Rex was protecting his mom from this big white beast that came to attack her. I guess that's his interpretation. I'm just guessing, because that's what he acted like, was a rooster protecting his girl from another rooster. I mean, Isaac was caught totally off guard. So were we. So was I and Lady Hawk. Her name's Lady Hawk. She's Cherokee. And he gave a stern look that reminded both of us of a Foghorn Leghorn moment. You ever seen Foghorn Leghorn with a little chicken hawk? Boy, I say now, boy. when he's pushing his patience there. So she said, so beware of this new predator called the DelaRex, because it can strike at any time. Vicious, fearless pest to adults and totally adorable. So, yeah. DelaRex because he was a Delaware, and Rex because it's like I thought he was like a little T-Rex. So I said, oh, there's a T-Rex. She goes, we said, no, the DelaRex. So, yeah, that was Atlas's father, the bravest chick I have ever seen in my life. Ever. He was single barred. I used him in my single barred rooster video. If you've seen the thing about the genetics of barred rocks. And, yeah, he was quite the guy, Rex was. Now, his name was Rex. He's Rex number 2. The original Rex was actually the original Marvin Stukel male that was killed by a copperhead before he actually reached maturity. So he was with hens, but he just, he was protecting his hens, I suppose, and he was bitten, and they would not administer antivenom, so they couldn't do that for chicken. Never mind that he was worth about $75 by himself. But that's the story of the DelaRex. And he grew up to be quite the rooster, and sadly him and his half-brother Deacon, who was much lighter bodied, he would chase Deacon relentlessly. That was just the habit. And then one day, I guess at a certain point, Deacon had enough when he grew up, and he was much more agile than Rex. Deacon had a different mother, and so Deacon was very light-bodied. His mother was very light-bodied. I think he was Tiny's son, actually, because I picked up the wrong egg to hatch. And Rex was very big-chested, big guy like Isaac. And one day when Rex was chasing Deacon stopped, turned around, and of course Rex had his head down, and he pulled his head up, and Deacon jumped and hit him in the chest. And he went downhill from there. He looked stunned, and he went downhill from there slowly. In 3 weeks he was gone. I think he had internal injuries. So, yeah, it was really sad to lose Rex. He was a really, really good rooster. All of Isaac's sons and grandsons and great-grandsons have excellent temperament. But that's the story of the DelaRex, cute as it is. And Lady Hawk, I hope this cheered you up and gave you some remind you some fond memories. We have some really fond memories of our birds, the dramas. It's like a chicken soap opera. Our places it was just like chicken soap opera time at both our places. And yeah, fond memories, fond memories. So that's all. That's your story for the day. Bye, y'all.